Hey everyone, it's me, Pem. This is Stilico. I know we are technically done with the story, but I did it for a NIG, and I would like to do it for Stilico too. A little retrospective to kind of run through the stats of the player, what the character, rather. Stats of the character, what the character did, and where we ended up from the very beginning. I don't know. There's not going to be any gameplay in this, so if you want to skip it, you're not going to miss anything. Um, but we finished the story at episode 298, and I'm not OCD by any means, but 300 is such a round number, and we were so close that I have been tempted and persuaded to do this little retrospective episode as a 299, and then I'll do a little special 300, courtesy of a fan who submitted something that I think is worth your time. So, with a NIG, what I did was I went through gear, stats, quests. We just kind of ran through like a little, like I said, a retrospective on everything that the character did. The last save that I have in the game is this one that I loaded right before we raided Falkreath for the final episode, the little epilogue at the end of the last episode. And this is right where I put Stilico so that I actually freed the camera up from him, and then I zoomed in on Falkreath, so that was like our establishing shot. But I kind of like this location because we've got Starlight, which is pretty. We've got that tower in the background, which is also pretty. And we've got that dragon swooping around over there like an asshole. I don't know if you guys can really make him out clearly here. It's midnight, so it's going to be a while till it's daylight. But if it is daylight and he's still swooping around, that'll be kind of fun. So let's begin. Whoops, I accidentally hit the console there. Let's begin with his skills. We still ended up having 2 perk points to use, and we never used them. Let's start with the thievy type skills. So we never made it to level 47. We were very close, and I thought for sure we would, but we didn't. Marksmanship might have gotten us there. One-handed might have gotten us there. Maybe some kind of skill point from having Dargo around with us, but it never came to be. So we'll just have to be satisfied with Stilico ending his career at level 46. Oh, one last thought. I am going to leave him here as old Stilico, because I actually really like how old Stilico looks. I like how he turned out, and I'm a little disappointed that I didn't get to use him more in the entire series. So we're just we're going with old Stilico because it's kind of fun. I like old Stilico. Alright, so we got evasion to 72, that's not bad. Yeah, I'd say if you're short 75, 75 is the real, like, yeah, okay, I pretty much owned with that character. 72 is pretty close. We didn't get all the perks. We got a lot of them, though. Sneak we got to 65, which I would think would be higher, given that we were a thief, but that just shows how bad of a thief we were. Lockpicking we got to 100. I continue to maintain that Requiem, I think, allowed lockpicking to advance too quickly. I don't see why lockpicking should have been at 100 when, meanwhile, like, my sneak, my evasion, my marksmanship were still below 50 at the time I think that it hit 100. Seems like they were allowing too many points per successful unlock. Pickpocket was about 61, which is probably where I think it should be. Sometimes take weapons right off of people that are armed. That, I don't know that one I ever would have used that. Never get caught. Yeah, I don't know. Pickpocketing wasn't our thing. Much more so just killing and taking it. Speech we got up to 83, which is kind of surprising. Because I'm not remembering too many times in the LP where speechcraft was that important to us. I mean, obviously trading, but I'm trying to think of, like, quest reasons why we would have been trying to persuade or intimidate. It couldn't have happened that often. Of course, Requiem changes things a bit, so we were able to use this to improve our shouts. specifically Yol, because Yol's awesome. And then we had this Power of the Way of the Voice, which we never freaking used. I'm kind of disappointed in myself that I never thought to use that. We did use this once. This was a way to turn perk points into Dragon Souls, essentially. And I used that maybe like in the first half of the Let's Play. And I don't think I ever used it again. Alchemy, I don't know how we got it to 13. That must have been accidental. Maybe from perk points from followers or something, courtesy of the Amazing Followers mod. Illusion 8. Likewise, I cannot imagine why that's 8. It should be 5, I would think. Conjuration 18. Again, I don't know how any of these started to get leveled. It must have just been like I had Teldrin for a follower for a while, right? So maybe I know he was using Destruction and Conjuration. Maybe that's how it got leveled. Those what are they called? Perk points that you get for having your follower. Like it makes sense in a role-playing sense that if you have a follower, by observing your follower in combat, you learn skills of theirs. But I sure as fuck can't remember what they're called. Sympathy perk points or sync? I don't know. It appears in the top left every time I got one of them, and I can't remember what they're called. But anyway, that's due to the Amazing Followers mod. So that's, I'm guessing, where Conjuration and Destruction came from. Illusion and Alchemy? I have no idea. Whoops. Restoration was all me, baby. We almost got it to 30. That would have been cool. But as it is, we basically just use it as our base healing skill. And the reason I ended up taking that character-wise is because Requiem sets it so that your character's health does not regenerate on its own, versus vanilla Skyrim, where it does regenerate over time. And I also knew that I didn't want this character to do alchemy, because I'd already done it for Anaig, and it felt like, oh, fuck, if I have to go pick up every goddamn flower in Skyrim again, and then spend more time at the alchemy table, it's gonna kill me. So I ended up saying, you know what, this character doesn't do alchemy at all. It's just not in his repertoire of skills. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, shit, if Requiem doesn't allow your character's health to regenerate, and I'm not going to be doing alchemy on my own, that means I'm going to be relying only on potions I find in loot or in vendors, and that's not going to be enough. So I said to myself, well, okay, I'll allow him to have... He's got a very basic restoration skill, nothing that's ever been trained, but just some innate skill that allows him to cast a spell that allows him to heal himself. That's where this came from. And by the end, we were able to do the Healing Hands spell, so we could actually heal up Dargo. I think I only did it once, but that was never really part of the plan for the character anyway. It was just basically, shit, Requiem doesn't let me heal, so I need to find an alternative. Alteration 14, again, don't know where that came from, but sure. Enchanting 39, I think that only got leveled up because of the Soul Gem Evocation scrolls that I bought. Whenever I used those, I think the recharging of my weapons upped my enchanting, which is a little silly because the whole reason that I bought those scrolls is because Requiem doesn't let you recharge by default. You have to have a certain level or a certain perk in the enchanting skill. I forget which one it is, but one of these perks allows you to actually recharge your weapons. Without that, you need to buy the scroll in Requiem. And so I was thinking, okay, my character has no skill in enchanting, he'll just buy the scrolls. But the weird thing is that when you use the scrolls, it ups your enchanting skill, which, okay, fine, but it didn't really make character sense, I don't think. Smithing, we got to 30. Smithing was a thing I thought I would do when I first started the Let's Play, because I thought Anaig did alchemy and enchanting. If I don't do either one of those, I'm going to have a hard time leveling this character up appropriately, and Requiem is tough enough as it is. I'm going to need some crafting skills that I can use to help level him up. And so I thought, oh, well, smithing's where it's at. But then it never really made sense for the character to stop and do any smithing. We never had a bunch of ore or leather on us. And the few times that we did, we ended up selling it, so I ended up not using it very much. I basically just made a few light armors and then kind of gave up. And as it is, I'm kind of happy that we did, because I think that would have just kind of bogged down the LP more than it already was. Here's where it gets silly. Heavy armor we had at 98, and that was courtesy of having Dargo as a follower the entire time. We got those sympathy perk points from amazing followers that up that. It's kind of ridiculous that our two highest skills, well actually our three highest skills, were lockpicking, heavy armor, and two-handed. And two of those we only leveled up because of our follower. It just seems a little, maybe a little bit much. There were times where we'd be like halfway to the next level, like around, you know, in the teens or 20s, and we'd finish a fight with Dargo at our side against some enemy, and then bam, the bar would fill all the way back, all the way up from sympathy perk points for heavy armor or for two-handed. It was nuts. It was, when we had a Naig, when we played as a Naig, we had Arender as a follower pretty much the whole time, and we had multiple followers from the College of Winterhold, and we never got that full of a bar from sympathy perk points. So I'm not sure if something in the Amazing Followers mod conflicted with something in Requiem, and I just didn't notice it or didn't understand that there was a patch available for it. It ended up being silly, but as it is, I'm kind of happy because it made up for the leveling I thought I'd have to do with smithing. It ended up working out fine. As it is, we could have switched into heavy armor and pulled out a two-hander, and we would have actually probably been more damaging than we were in our light armor with our one-handed weapon. Block we got to 29. We used a shield almost the entire LP. The only time we didn't use a shield is when we used those Death Brand dual wielding, which just didn't seem to fit the character, and I didn't like it. So we switched back to a shield almost right away. But even so, we only got block to 29. Kind of surprised at. Two-handed, same as heavy armor, just silly. One-handed, we got to 66. This was probably in fact it was, our main means of dealing damage. And we used the most, I'd say the most perk points were used in this branch, this tree here. We never got to Sword Specialization 3, which is actually okay because between the skinny modification from Realistic Needs and Diseases and the fact that we only used small weapons, daggers, short swords, that kind of thing, we were so freaking fast with weapons that I don't even know if this third perk point would have made a difference. And if it would have been literally godly. It's just crazy how fast we were. I would have liked, 100 is a long way away. Would I have ever thought to use this? There are so many skills I never even thought to use that probably not. I would have never done that. Marksmanship, which ended up coming in very handy for this character. Didn't get it as high as one-handed, but we did use it a lot. We got Gruesome Shot 2 of 2. We got Point Blank Shot. We got Marksman's Focus, which slowed down time. Precise Aimed, Advanced Range Combat. The two that I would have liked, Quick Shot's nice, but this was the one I really was thinking would be cool to get. It'd be nice if you could just fire off arrows like Legolas, just every 2 seconds, just and staggering would have been cool. We were a long way from this though, 75 versus 57. Move faster with a drawn ranged weapon, that would have been nice too. And paralysis, by the time you're that good at marksmanship, I can't imagine that paralysis is even that useful to you. Even in Requiem. If your marksmanship is 100, you have kicked some serious ass. Oh, you know what? It just occurred to me. Speaking of marksmanship, we never finished off that... who was the woman at the camp? Angie! Angie! We never went back and did her challenge. Oh. Well, too bad. That would have been a nice way to finish out the character if I would have thought of it. Go back as old Stilico and finish it off. I think that takes us back to where we started, right? Evasion. Oh, God damn it. Evasion and sneak, right? Yeah. So that was skills. I wanted to go through magic, not because I really care about the spells that we cast. We never cast any of these. We did use Summon Dravos very, very rarely. It basically took up all of the mana that we had on hand. We used a couple of healing spells, nothing crazy. And then we, of course, had our shouts. I would say the ones we used the most, certainly Fire Breath. There for a while we used Unrelenting Force a lot because it was the first one that we knew all 3 words of. Dragon Rend. Used Dragon Aspect a couple times. Call of Valor a couple times. Bend Wheel a couple times. But otherwise we didn't really make very good use of our shouts. Or rather, we didn't diversify the use of our shouts. We used Fire Breath a lot. I think, anyway. These were just the different skills that most of these are mod added. This is the one that our perk point gave us that I never used. Oh, right, and all the different stones on Solstheim that I, again, never used. Shadow Cloak of Nocturnal. If I had to pick one in this list that we use the most, apart from Horse Call, it was Shadow Cloak of Nocturnal, I think. Ooh, look at that. It's cool how the words go flying around. I never noticed that before. One of them comes... No, maybe not. I swear when I first moused over this, one of the words like flew way over here behind the menu even. That was a little odd. Active effects. This is kind of why I'm here. So we had 3 bags of holding, which actually aided our character quite a bit, because we would have had to make way more stops in town if we hadn't had those bags of holding. Those were nice. And that was Requiem edition, I believe. And Requiem nerfs your carry weight so much as, in an attempt to be realistic, which makes sense. And then they compensate for it by putting various bags of holding around for you to find, which do help out quite a bit as you go on. Companion's Insight. That was a skill I picked up late. That was from a black book, I think. I don't remember ever using it. We're apparently bleeding. I don't know when that happened as for old Stilico, but it's happened apparently since we were last at Nocturnal Shrine, because that's the only place he could get a blessing, because the 9 Aedra have forsaken him. 8 Aedra plus 1, That was very cool. When your Fire Breath shout kills an enemy, a fireworm emerges from their corpse to fight for you for 60 seconds. It was way more than 1. We usually had at least 3. At some points we had like 6, 7, 8, or 9, I think. It was kind of crazy. Exposure comes from Frostfall. Flamebane was from our awesome shield, which we used basically like from the first act on, I think. We got that pretty early on and never switched it. We never really found a better one. We were, of course, born under the sign of the Thief, which gave us ability to use bows and one-handed weapons better, improved our sneaking and pickpocketing and lockpicking. And then we got Fortify... Oh, so the Death Brand armor was awesome there by the end. We got a Fortify carry weight from that. And also from our backpack, which is a small thing. That's from... I think that's also from Frostfall, but I could be wrong. The ring we ended up using last third of the LP, I'd say, is the Ring of Eminent Health. Increased our health. Fortify lockpicking from the Stone of the Thief. One-handed pickpocket, all from the Stone of the Thief. That's from being born under the sign of the Thief. I think with the alternate start mod that I used, you don't get a stone, you just choose your birth sign the way that you did in Morrowind and Oblivion. And I prefer that means of doing it. It fits the roleplay better, I think, than just finding a stone, using it, and then later on finding another stone and being like, ooh, this is better. Like, I like being set with a birth sign. That feels more RPG-ish to me. We ended up picking a Greybeard mantle up from High Hrothgar, and we never switched it out after that. Just the recharge time to shouts was useful. We got Ancient Knowledge at one point, which we got from that quest that the crazy Argonian woman in Riften gives you, where you end up going to the Dwemer Ruin, which I think we ended up doing in the third act, actually. We came back to Skyrim from Solstheim and addressed that while we were back on Skyrim. It ended up not doing any good for us, for our character, in terms of smithing, but it was still a neat quest. That, of course, came from our birth sign. Blessing of Nocturnal. I think when you... No, I don't know. Oh, that's from... Yeah, the blessing that we got actually at the Thieves Guild. So then why the hell we're still bleeding? I don't know. You'd think the blessing would have cured that. But fine. Whatever. Fortify Stamina from the Deathbrand armor. Fortify Stamina from our backpack. Useful. Memory Recorder. Of course, that's Naloth's spell that we never ended up doing. And it basically it's cast with a time limit. But since they can't do infinite time, they just did, okay, 1,000 days. Literally like 1,000 days. Nobody will play this game for 1,000 days, so we're fine. Resist Disease because we're Bosmer. Rested because we rested. That's, again, realistic needs and diseases. Sailor's Repose, that's from the Lighthouse quest up in, is it Winterhold or the Pale? With the Chaurus and the, fucking Chaurus. Chaurus in Skyrim, in Requiem, are fucking nightmares. Chaurus and spiders both with that poison. Early on, like once you get to like level 30, 40, you don't give a shit about them anymore because you've got tons of elixirs of vitality and everything. But the first few times that you tackle those fuckers, they are a pain in the ass. Chauruses and spiders both. Seeker of Might. Combat skills are all 10% more effective. That has got to be a black book. I don't know where else I would have picked that up. And the Fire Within. Fire Breath Shouts deal 25% more damage. Is that the one you get when you study the word wall up at Parthenax's roost on the throat of the world? I'm not sure where you get that one. So that was our active effects and our spells. What did we end up using? Well, for weapons, we mainly ended up using Mehrunes Razor and the Nightingale Blade for melee. We did, by the end, use Dawnbreaker and Dragonbane for their specific targets. Dawnbreaker for the undead, Dragonbane for dragons. Very useful in every regard. In fact, I can't imagine how we would have made it through this Let's Play without Dawnbreaker or Dragonbane. It would have been very difficult. At no point did I intend to pick either one of these up. I did not intend to do the Meridia quest when I set out. But I did, and it ended up working out. And at no point did I intend to pick up Dragonbane. Of course, we did the main quest, which I meant to do, but I didn't realize this was a part of it. And again, it would have been so much harder without this. One thing I'll give Requiem credit for is it makes enemies much, much more difficult, but it provides weaknesses that you can exploit. In these cases, the weaknesses are do one specific quest and get one specific reward, which is perhaps a little bit more limiting, but they do still provide that opportunity. Arrows. Hunting bow, I don't know why I have the hunting bow on me. I think that was a thing from getting old Stilico, where I needed old Stilico. He ended up picking up a hunting bow for some reason. Likewise, iron sword. The razor, that was one of my favorite quests that we did. That was one of the only Daedric quests we did. Of course, we did Nocturnals, because Nocturnals is the entire Thieves Guild quest. I'm having trouble thinking of other Daedric quests we did. Malakath, for sure, for Dargo. But I don't remember any others. We'll check that in quests in a little bit. And then the Nightingale Blade and the Nightingale Bow, which we use very frequently. It's not here in my inventory because I ended up giving it to one of my followers. One of the other razors, I mean. There at the end, off camera. You guys didn't see that. The Nightingale Blade was a fucking awesome sword, and it was basically the best sword that we saw the rest of the game. It was pretty amazing. But Marin's Razor was pretty decent damage by comparison and no recharge, so I ended up using that most of the time that we were fighting enemies that I didn't really care about, so as to save recharge on the blade itself. For the longest time we had the Nightingale bow, and it was very, very useful, but by the end I got seduced by this Stalrim bow of chaos, extreme chaos. Partly because we had the Deathbrand armor, which is Stalrim, so this bow seemed to fit. But also because, for those of you who have followed any of my streams, you'll know that because of my haphazard playstyle and penchant for violence over any kind of stealth or consideration of, like, oh, let's think about how we can do this carefully, I usually end up just going for the most violent option. And one of the memes that's developed out of that is Max Chaos, as if my character was named, had a name, Max Chaos, which of course also means maximum chaos. So when I saw Stalrim Bow of Extreme Chaos, I was like, oh, come on. I mean, that's Max Chaos the bow. We have to get it. And damage-wise, it was pretty impressive. So yeah, I got it. We had the steel hunting knife because I installed Hunterborn for some reason, thinking I'd use it. I'm like, hey, thievy type character with a bow, surely he'll hunt some things. I don't think I hunted a single damn thing in this game. But that was on hand in case I needed to skin some animals. I don't remember why I have that on me. I never used it. Must have picked it up at some point. Divine Intervention, I thought, ooh, this will be like in Morrowind, where you can cast a spell and when you're in a tough dungeon, you can get back to the nearest temple. I never ended up using it, and I'm kind of bothered that I didn't, because I would have liked to see how it worked. I'm sure it would just teleport you to the nearest town. But it would have been interesting if I, snuck into, like, County Falkreath Hold, and avoided the guards, went to some location, ended up getting in over my head, cast Divine Intervention, ended up getting transported to the Shrine of Arkay in the whatever the House of the Dead is called there. I don't even remember. It's just a graveyard with that one guy's house in it, Runil, whatever. And then I step outside, and of course all the guards want to kill me, because Falkreath I have a bounty, and that would have been kind of fun. But I never did it. We had our backpack, which we stuck I think an Amulet of Kinnereth on, which I think is what gave us the extra 5 stamina. I'm not really sure. And then the Deathbrand armor. The armor increased our stamina by 15 for every item we wore. I normally had the helm on, but I didn't here because my hair looks awesome. The gauntlets, which while dual wielding, your one-hand attacks do 10% more damage for each Deathbrand item you wear. We ended up not using that because we weren't dual wielding for very long. The boots, which increased our carrying capacity by 10 for each Deathbrand armor you wear. I want to say that if I did a point-by-point comparison, the Nightingale armor was still actually probably better. But I was so tempted by this barbarian-looking fucking armor that looks really cool when you got the whole set. And the whole Let's Play, I know it sounds kind of crazy because I played him in the Nightingale armor for like 80% of this entire series. But the whole Let's Play I was thinking, no, he's a bandit, he's not a thief, he's a bandit, he's not a thief. And we went deep into the Thieves Guild and had to operate as a thief for a long time. But when this armor presented itself and it was like, oh, this is a bandit's armor, I was like, hell yeah, finally. Of course, we had a number of Dragon Priest masks, which, again, for the purposes of the epilogue at the end of episode 298, I ended up giving a number of them away, so we don't have all of them on us, but that's to come, that's one of them. I don't know why that's there, That must be something I picked up of dead people. Our beloved shield, for which we never found a better replacement the entire Let's Play from the time we picked it up, which I think was pretty early on. As it is, it ends up not perfectly matching the Stalrim, but it's pretty close in terms of looks. So I didn't mind. I even had it when we had the Nightingale armor, which it didn't match at all, but the Nightingale armor doesn't come with a good shield, so this was the best we got. The Greybeard Mantle, I already talked about. The Recruiting Necklace was for bringing people into the Razors, the Make Your Own Guild mod, which was pretty cool. Ring of Eminent Health, which I mentioned, which was stolen. Deft Hands, Sneaking, and I thought there was a pickpocketing ring we had too, but that's not on me anymore. I bought those at some point because I thought, like, ooh, I can afford these right now, and it'll be nice to have some extra help there because I was bad at I was bad at sneaking and I was bad at pickpocketing, but I ended up not using them too often. And then, of course, the Galder Amulet, which I wore once I got it completed. We got that completed in front of the quest to go to Solstheim and to confront Alduin, because I thought, oh shit, I'm going to need as much skill as I can get. Requiem has kicked my ass every step of the way. It was worth it to get the Galder Amulet. But at the same time, Requiem still kicked my ass in Solstheim. It didn't freaking matter. Skulldafen, Solstheim, it was all just an absolute mess. Potions, I don't need to go through that. That's the standard shit. Grand Healing, I don't think I ever used any of those. We had Scrolls of Invisibility here and there, and Potions of Invisibility. We had the Soul Gems of Evocation. Early on in the Let's Play, we used the Animate Lockpick Scrolls, but by the time we got it, our lockpicking to 100, we didn't need those anymore. Food and water skins, that was a constant, though I never had the appetite that I thought we should have. I feel like realistic needs wasn't quite balanced correctly, but I was loath to mess with it because I was afraid of making things worse, honestly. We kept that Daedra heart forever, thinking we might eventually need it, and we never ended up needing it. As it is, it's kind of cool that I have some Daedra's heart on me at all times. That's kind of neat. Again, all the craftsmanship books, all the journals that we picked up, all the black books. Few bounties. I still have a freaking Elder Scroll on me. That's kind of cool. I don't know why I still have that. But it makes me think I'm pretty awesome. Various letters, journals, notes. War Magic. I don't know why I didn't sell that. I must not have seen it in a menu when I... Oh, treasure maps. I think we only got this one. I don't remember if we found the other two. Maybe we got that one? I don't remember. And that one I'm pretty sure we didn't. Though I think I know where that is. Out of character knowledge. Keys. I mean, who gives a shit about keys? And then just some gems. Gems. The map of dragon burials. Freaking Torig's Warhorn, which I thought, oh man, that'd be so awesome that I could take it and then put it somewhere in the Thieves Guild, in a chest, or in a case, or in a bookshelf, or something, and I couldn't drop it because it was a quest item, so I ended up carrying it with me. But I was pretty proud of dropping that thing, or picking up that thing. Oh, I still have that on me. Oh, and good old Drobar's Lucky Coin. I'd say that ended up paying off for us. Lucky Coin. Let's see. I don't think there's really anything to check out on the map. I feel like not nearly as many locations we discovered this time as we did with the Naig's Let's Play. We were much more, I'm not going to say focused, but we didn't do as much off the beaten path type of exploration, you know? Which is weird, because this Let's Play went on for like 50 hours longer than an Naig's did, but even so. Gosh, only 8 minutes have passed since I started doing all that menu work. Well, the other thing I wanted to do was... I guess we go through the mods really quick. Adventures and Travelers gave us more Adventures and Travelers to look at, including one Dovahkiin, which was interesting. We ran into her a couple different times, including in Solstheim, which was a little weird. Border Sense, just an immersive mod that lets you know when you're crossing a hold border. It tells you, like, oh, I'm nearing this border. I can tell. Campfire, which I was bad at the whole time. Couldn't remember how to do it when it was actually time to do it. Convenient Horses is a mod I wouldn't play without. It's so much better than just default horses. Deadly Dragons I installed thinking like, oh man, maybe I'll have to make dragons more difficult. Which I used it for that purpose in a Nights Let's Play, but fuck, between Requiem and just dragons themselves, it was tough. Death Alternative I had on for a while. I ended up turning it off because I was sick of it. And I would not play with it again, honestly. It's very good for role-playing. It's tough when you're trying to tell a story, though. I'll say that. Frostfall. Great for role-playing, great for storytelling. I loved it. Guildstarter, likewise. I wish I could have explored all the perk points available in Guildstarter. Hunterborn, installed it and almost never used it. It ended up kind of being a burden. Not casting aspersions on the mod itself, but it just never came into to play for this character. Immersive Citizens and Immersive Creatures. This was neat. It helped flesh out the population of the province a little bit. I don't know if it's essential for me if I were to ever come back to it, whether I would play with these or not. Some of this was crazy fucking shit. It was kind of nice here and there to be like, what the hell is that thing? Or like when you be out at night and a freaking hybrid would come charging at you and you'd be like, oh fuck. But then again, there were some things where it was like, what the hell? Like Draman didn't fit really. Mechanical dragons don't really fit, I don't think. Yeah, just some of them are crazy. It's nice that you can customize all these details. That being said, yeah, I probably would play with immersive creatures again. Immersive HUD, absolutely essential. Just makes everything invisible unless you need to see it. Inns and taverns, yeah, it's nice. Lightning. It came in here and there in crazy thunderstorms. At which point it was like so pronounced, it was like, whoa, shit, this is insane. And then once the storm was gone, it'd be like, oh, yeah, okay, that's over with. Realistic needs. Nice. Again, eating was a little unbalanced, I felt. Otherwise, fine. Requiem. Well, there's so much to say about Requiem. I'll say this. I appreciate what the mod makers were trying to do with making Skyrim more of a classic RPG type game. It gives you background stats that you don't really see. These kinds of things. Secondary attributes, for example. Derived attributes, where it actually pulls these from other stats that you already have, like your health, your stamina, your magicka, that kind of thing. And your weight, that sort of thing. But okay, so there's two ways that Requiem increases difficulty, one of which I like, one of which I hate. The one that I like is these specific enemies have strength and weaknesses that they don't have in vanilla Skyrim, and you have to figure out how you're going to beat them. That's neat. That's like, okay, oh shit, these guys are tough. What do I have that can beat them? Or what do I need to find that can beat them? That's fun, and that gets you someplace. The second way that it makes things more difficult is it spams enemies at you, which is not fun and not interesting to me. That's what happened in Blackreach, for example, with some of the Dwarven Centurions and shit. That's what happened in Skuldafn, for sure. That's what happened in Sovngarde when Alduin would do his his summon shout where the entire screen had to black out because the game couldn't handle that many spawns at once. Two ways to make difficulty worse are more enemies or more hit points. Those are two really uninteresting ways to make a game more difficult. The more interesting ways to make a game more difficult are strengths and weaknesses you have to balance and exploit, or AI advantages. As things get more difficult, the AI gets smarter, and you have to overcome those intelligence increases, right? So Requiem did one of those things well, did the other one very badly. And as a result, I ended up kind of, I don't know, I think if I was to play this again someday, I might just skip Requiem as a whole, which hurts me to say because Requiem's purpose is after my own heart, but its results are a bit different, I think, than its ambition, and it was very frustrating at different times. I recognize that maybe if I would have gone back and just ground this character up to level 65 or 70 or something, maybe I could have just coasted through Sovngarde and Skuldafn and all that shit. But that's not fun. Nobody wants to play that character. Especially if you're trying to roleplay. Who wants to roleplay grinding? It just doesn't work. I will say that, given how difficult Skuldafn and Sovngarde were, I thought for sure that Apocrypha and Mirok would be catastrophic for me, but I know Requiem affects the fucking Dragonborn DLC because I installed the patch that makes it do so. But it sure didn't provide the same difficulty that I thought it would based on how the end of the main quest went. So I'm kind of happy with that. That's fine. I was not looking forward to having to deal with all that shit. Simply Knock was a nice mod that I ended up not really using very often. But it was cool. I could see how if you were role-playing a character that might, I don't know, like if you were role-playing like a non-combat character, that might be very useful. I don't know. SkyUI is absolutely essential. Oh, I just noticed a little Santa hat on the dragon there. That's neat. Wonder if that's season appropriate. So very useful. I would never play without SkyUI. And then Unread Books Glow is a small mod, but it makes a big difference. So many books, especially with all the skill books that actually provide your character some balance. It's nice to have Unread Books Glow so you know which ones you read and which ones you haven't. Yeah, so that was all our mods. Two last things I want to do is go through the general stats and then the quests, just to kind of refresh our memory on what all this character did. General stats. We discovered 298 locations, cleared 292 dungeons, passed 128 days, which if you divide by 30 is like 4 months and a week or so. It's a pretty good stretch of time. Yeah, it's 23rd of Evening Star, and I think we started 22nd of Last Seat. So that's 4 full months. That's pretty good. As it is, this episode's going to end up being... I'm sorry, not this episode. The series is going to end up being close to 150 hours if it's not over that. I tried to average 30 minutes an episode, and I did 298 episodes. I'm pretty sure I actually averaged more than 30 minutes, so I'm pretty sure we clear 150 hours for this Let's Play. That's a very long series. Anig's was the longest series I'd ever played, and hers was only 100 hours. 300 episodes at 20 minutes each. Stilico was taking it to a whole new level. I was basically playing this game, playing this character for 2 years. It was very involved. And I'm, as much as I'm going to miss him and Dargo and the whole gang, I'm kind of glad that it's over with. It's a very long time to be playing one game, one character. We slept for almost 1,200 hours. That sounds about right. It waited 86 hours. That was basically when we had no other options. We just kind of had to like, okay, we got to advance a quest. Let's just wait 4 hours and let it pick up. Found 7 standing stones, which doesn't matter for anything because we had our birth power instead. Wow, found 1.2 million gold. Ended up by the end, I think we had a little over 200 grand. I'm not sure if that's from when we picked up all the gold out of the chest in the Thieves Guild or not. I ended up giving a bunch of it to Dargo and Teldrin because I needed the free weight. Because Requiem makes gold weigh something instead of it just being free weight on your person. But yeah, I'd say by the end we were retired with over 200 grand. Looted 935 chests, increased skills 757 times, that seems like a lot. Read 72 skill books, ate 1,426 pieces of food. Trained 15 times, not very often. Read 229 books. Owned 1 horse, Servira. Owned 1 house, the home on Solstheim in Raven Rock. Invested in 11 stores. I don't really remember caring about that other than like, hey, I've got some extra gold. Here, will you take this? And the next time I sell you shit, I can sell it to you for easy. Sell you more of it, rather. Barters, 3,276. Persuasions, 20. Bribes, 6. Intimidations, 3. Not very much there. Which is, again, why I'm surprised why our speechcraft is so high. I guess it's all the barters, honestly. Diseases contracted 0 because we were immune to it on account of being a Bosmer. 7 Dragonborn quests completed. 81 total quests completed. 88 miscellaneous objectives completed. 17 main quests completed. 23 side quests completed. 0 companion, 0 college. 8 Thieves Guild. 1 Dark Brotherhood. What the hell? Oh, yes, this is cheating. So when I started the character, I wanted him to fit in with the world of Skyrim that I had already created when I did a Nig's Let's Play. And she killed Grella the Kind. So when I started the Let's Play, I set the quest stage so that Grella the Kind would already be killed, so that I wouldn't get prompts for that quest, seeing the Aretino boy and Windhelm and going down to Riften and all that shit, blah, 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 blah. So, it says I completed this quest. I really didn't. Civil War quests, 0. Daedric quests, 5. Again, apart from Nocturnal, Malakath, and... Meridia. And Hermaeus Mora. So that's 4. Who was the 5th one? Marin's Dagon. Okay, yeah, we did do 5. Never mind. Quest lines completed 3. I would say Thieves Guild, Main Quest, and Dragonborn, right? Combat. I murdered 1,081 people. That's a little nuts. Killed 795 animals, 318 creatures, 558 undead, 81 Daedra, 161 automatons. My favorite weapon was the Nightingale Blade, which surprises me. I would have thought it was Mehrunes Razor, given how much I used it. Critical strikes, 614. Sneak attacks, 154. Backstabs, 24. Weapons disarmed, 0. Brawls, 1-0. I don't think I brawled anybody. Bunnies slaughtered, 1. That's actually weirder than having it be 0. I cannot think of when I slaughtered a bunny. I have to guess it was an accident in some other fight, but I don't know. Magic. I learned 15 spells. That's bullshit. I basically learned 2, I think. Favorite spell, Healing Hands. Sounds about right. Favorite school, Restoration. Yeah. Dragon Souls collected, only 23. I feel like it should have been more than that, given how many dragons it felt like I fought in this game, but I guess 23 is correct. Words of Power learned, 45. Words of Power unlocked, 43. Shouts learned, 20. Shouts unlocked, 19. Shouts mastered, 10. Times shouted, 245. Should have been more, I guess. But I'm the kind of dude who does not remember the powers that he has available. I just keep hacking and slashing, honestly. Favorite shout, Fire Breath. Crafting. I used 110 soul gems just through the evocation scrolls. Trapped 1 soul. I don't remember that. Was that a quest type thing that I did? I honestly don't remember. Magic items made 0. Weapons improved 0. Weapons made 1. Armor improved 14. Armor made 120. That's surprising. I feel like that should be... I don't remember making that much shit. Potions mixed 10. I don't know when I mixed any potions. Potions used 622. Poisons mixed 0. Poisons used 53. I had a ton of poisons on me and I never used enough of them. Ingredients harvested 218. Okay. I mean, I was never out there to use them for alchemy. I would usually only take them if they were significantly valuable. Ingredients eaten 1. I don't remember when that would have been. Nernroots found 13. Wings plucked 0. It's considerably fewer Nernroots found than Nebish would be comfortable with. Crime. Bounty in the Pale was 120. Bounty in Hafingvar was 670. Falkreath bounty. Okay, so again, this is post me doing the epilogue for the game, so this isn't really accurate. My highest bounty, I think, in Falkreath was like 1150 or something like that, but this has it as 82,000 because at the end of the game I went in and killed the Jarl and killed all his family and a bunch of guard and stuff. Lifetime bounty 399,000. Basically 400,000. I should probably be like 200 or so in terms of what the actual character incurred. Largest bounty 82,000. Again, that's not accurate. Locks picked 378. Pockets picked 92. Items pickpocketed 2,447 rather. Interesting that I only picked 92 pockets, but I picked almost 2,500 items. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like almost 25 items per pickpocket. There's no way I pickpocketed 25 items per times pickpocketing. That's insane. Unless it counts individual pieces of gold as separate items, in which case, okay, yeah, possibly. But still, that's a really weird way to count that. Alright. Times jailed, 0. Hey! Pretty successful bandit right there. Days jailed, 0. Fines paid, 48,625. Oof, that's a lot. Jail escapes, 0. Well, if you're never in jail, you don't have to worry about it. Item stolen, 2,705. Little klepto, our Stilico. Assaults, 189. Murders, 52. Probably should be way higher than that, given the number of people that we killed. Horses stolen, 1. I do not remember stealing a horse. I'm sure that it happened. I don't remember, though. Trespasses, 24. Alright, gang. The last thing we're going to do here in our little retrospective, which is going to end up being pretty much an hour, is go through our quests and remember what it is all that we did. Oh my god, there's so many. Holy shit. Okay, this is all Requiem. That's all when that gets set up. Frostfall, when Frostfall gets set up. Rumors of Dragons, when we started the Let's Play, of course. Just like with the Dark Brotherhood quest line, I set stage with the console, so that this would be where Anai had left it off. Likewise that. Likewise Bleakfall Barrow. Likewise killing Mirmulnir. Likewise, delayed burial with Cicero. This is the very first quest that we finished, I guess, as our own character. It was the very first Thieves Guild quest, a chance arrangement. Again, Thieves Guild quest. Again, Thieves Guild quest. That was Golden Glow. That was kind of a fun one. I think I ended up... You were only supposed to burn like 3 of the beehives, and I burned them all, because I don't give a shit. Thieves Guild, Dampened Spirits, another Thieves Guild. Man, I'm kind of surprised that these are all... I swear we did other quests while we were doing the Thieves Guild quests, but apparently not. Or they just order them in your quest list by quest line, I'm not sure. Defeat Jari Ra, yeah, we did that. Fishing job. Speaking with Silence, that was when we started the Nightingales back up. Ah, Waking Nightmare. We spoke with Arender, but we never actually did the quest. No, in fact, we didn't speak with Arender. I think this was another set stage because Anaik spoke with Arender and did the quest, and Arender should have never been in the inn when we found him, so I think I set that up outside of the Let's Play so that you guys would never see it. So here's a little view behind the curtain. Halkar's painting. I think I remember this. There was a woman in Solitude that wanted us to steal a painting. Was that quest? It had something to do with their assistant in Markarth. I don't know. Hard Answers. That's another Thieves Guild quest. I think that's when we get the Nightingale Blade and Bow. Thieves Guild quest. To Warm Sands. That was a 3D. That was an interesting NPCs quest, which didn't show up in our mod list. But was an interesting quest to do. It ended up making for a rather bit of a whiplash episode, I think, because we married one couple in part of the episode, and then we ended up murdering somebody else at the end of the episode. Or maybe it was the other way around. We murdered somebody and then married somebody. It was just like, whoa, this is kind of crazy. We're doing this back to back. Another Thieves Guild quest. This was Nightingales, getting them all together. Blindsided, that was trying to find Mercer Frey, track him down, kill him. The Eyes of the Falmer, which ended up being the password for our gang, the Razors. Getting anybody new to join. Good job. Darkness Returns, that was finalizing the Nightingale questline. Glathriel's Bow. I don't remember that, but we did it. Bedlam Job. Break of Dawn, that was Meridia's quest, which ended up being very beneficial for us later on because we had Dawnbreaker. Birds of a Feather. Yeah, I do remember that. Was that the one with the family? In the cabin up in Hoffingar somewhere? And we ended up killing the mom and the dad and the daughter. And stealing their stuff? I think that was that. And then the lady that we did it for, whose name was, I can't remember, her name's not listed here. We ended up throwing her ingredients into the cauldron wrong. She let us do it for some stupid reason. I don't know why. She was trying to become a hag raven, that's right. We threw the ingredients in wrong. She got struck by lightning and died. That was the end of the quest. If we would have done it right, she wouldn't have died. She would have become a hag raven and presumably rewarded us? I don't know. But as it is, we fucked it up and she died. Clear out the Falmer Cave with Rains. We ended up killing Rains because he hated bandits, and we're a bandit, so fuck him. The Immortal Coil. Widow's Watch. Oh, Froa! Froa and Arwen, who we kind of fell in love with Arwen. She was a Altmer priestess of Talos. I ended up role-playing it where we accidentally led her to the... we accidentally led the Thalmor to her. And they ended up slaying her, and it was all our fault. It was rather tragic. But we were able to recruit Roa for the Razors. Those are Thieves Guild quests. The Way of the Voice. Finally, our first main quest line quest. We ended up killing the dragon over whatever the hell, Sheerpoint? No, it's not Sheerpoint. What's the one place called in East March? The one with that damn dragon we killed it like 3 times and it was always flying around. Anyway, we killed that one once. We heard the shout from High Hrothgar, which is the same way that you would hear it if you did the main quest and killed Mirmulnir, but of course we didn't. Anaig killed Mirmulnir, and she wasn't the Dragonborn, so she didn't hear the shout. We killed the dragon separately, and then heard the shout, and that's how the main quest got started. I remember doing that quest. I don't remember a single damn detail about it, though. Fishing job, sweep job, numbers job, promises to keep. We stole Frost, that's right, from Blackbriar Lodge for Louis Latruche. The Way of the Nine. That was a very involved quest. That was one of the first quests we picked up, and we didn't finish it until after the Thieves Guild was all done. She ended up being all talk, this Svashni, and we ended up getting the way of the Stance of the Nine, or something like that. Stance of Arcade? I don't remember. As a skill we could use, I think I used it like twice. I almost never used it. The Paper Mirror was an interesting NPC quest that ended up being very interesting itself, where I read a book in Anice's cabin cellar, and they mentioned a character called Stilico, and for a split second I was like, holy shit, did somebody else pick the name Stilico for a story that I just coincidentally picked the same name, but it turned out that it was actually, they took your character's name and stuck it in the book, which was pretty neat. The rest of the quest, I don't remember really making that much sense to me, but it was a cool idea. Or Thieves Guild. Blade in the Dark. That's the killing Saluknir. That's when we lost Hood. Poor Hood. Rose Without Thorns. Fuck. That must have been a 3D, an interesting NPC quest too, and I don't remember a damn thing about it. Oh! That was after we killed Soloknir. There was suddenly a bandit attack. Like, it was very weird. Oh, Erevan. He was a Knight of the Thorn, I think? From Skingrad? From Shadenhall. Who moved up here and ended up in Kynesgrove, and we kind of helped him get his feet back under him, although he ended up, I don't think he ever left Kynesgrove. I think he was still a drunk in the inn. But we fought off some bandits for him, with him. Getting your gear back, I must have gotten knocked out at some point. I don't remember what quest that was, but that was an alternate death mod, and I had to get my gear back. I remember that actually making for an interesting character moment, like trying to sneak back into some shit. It was neat once. I wouldn't want to do it all the time, though, when you die. Horn of Jurgen Windcaller, of course, main quest. Numbers job. White File, we did that for Norelian. Norelian died. We ended up getting a deal with Quintus, though, and we're able to keep the White File. Not used it nearly as often as I should have, but I did use it. Merun's Razor. Killed Silas and took the razor. Numbers, burglary. The Cursed Tribe. That was the Malakath quest we did at Lagerspur for... we did it specifically because of Dargo. We thought this was helping his brethren and maybe getting him a place in the orc community. Azarian's Gold. I think we ended up killing Azarian. I don't remember why we killed him, but we straight up murdered that dude. We did not care. Imitation Amnesty. This was the capstone quest for Whiterun in the Thieves Guild. Unfathomable Depths, that was the Lexicon of Shell, which I'm surprised to see it this far down. I thought we did it in Act 3 coming back from... Oh, we picked it up in Act 2. We didn't actually do it until Act 3 after we came back from Solstheim. Numbers job, heist job, diplomatic immunity. That's the main quest. We got out of it and ended up going back later on and killed everybody in the embassy because we weren't able to kill them all on our way out the first time. We found Esbern in the Ratway. Numbers job, heist job, Alduin's Wall. We found Skyhaven Temple and cleared it out. Numbers job, burglary job, numbers. Throat of the World. Finally met Parthenax and learned the truth of the Greybeards. Got our gear back again. Burglary, Elder Knowledge. We found an Elder Scroll, courtesy of Arngeir and Esbern. Defeated Alduin at the Throat of the World, but did not defeat him for good. Finally put the Galdr Amulet together. Repaired the file. The Dainty Slowed. Don't remember that one. The Dainty Slow was a ship off of the coast of Hafengar, I think. I don't have memory of that one. Season unending. The main quest required that we put the Civil War on hold, so we did. Captured Odoving and interrogated him. Frickin' Skulldaffin, that sucked. Savangard, that also kind of sucked. Defeated Alduin, finally. Some more Thieves Guild stuff, more Thieves Guild stuff, more Thieves Guild stuff, and then finally visited Solstheim. Do Mirac, the Fate of the Skull, those were all main quests. Cleansing Stones, we did some Black Books. Blood Skull Barrow, of course, was interesting. We came back and did Discerning the Transmundane, which was interesting. That was the Hermaeus Mora quest. The Chief of Thirsk Hall, which became us, and we ended up passing it off to one of those little Reekling dudes. This was... Oh, right, we went into Nchardak with Naloth. That was fun. Storm read the book, and he died. Discovered a new source of Stalrim for the Skull. Destroyed an Ash Guardian and helped out Talvis. He was one of the apprentice, I think, to Naloth. Fixed the rotting mushroom thingamajigger for Elenea. Killed Falxcarius, who was infecting Fort Frostmoth with all of his ash spawn. Nice little nod to the original Blood Moon DLC for Morrowind. Found a new steward, since Verona was dead. Oh, right. Discovered the plot against Councillor Morvain. That was House Eulith? Something like that. Retrieved another black book. Found the Deathbrand armor. That was pretty cool. Black book. Heartstones. Don't remember caring about that. Drove us back, or rather paid off his debt after he went to become Naloth's new apprentice, steward, sorry. And then, of course, defeated Mirac. That was, yeah, we wrapped up. That was a Skull brother dude. We had to find his brother. He was a werebear. We killed him. Another black book. Defeated Valak the Jailer. That was another Dragon Priest. The Black Book. This was the Raelus Sidaris quest that ended up keeping us on Solstheim for multiple days past when we would have normally left. As it is, we ended up having to roleplay that we got special powers from Hermaeus Mora to see through the ground because the game the quest kind of glitched out and we got past where we were supposed to be. But it worked out because it would have taken more time for us to have to come back later, so I'm kind of fine with it. Somerset Shadows was a nice little capstone for the Thieves Guild quest for us. We got the... eliminated a rival to the Thieves Guild, which basically operated exactly as the Razors do, which is a little hypocritical of Stilico. But he did, at every chance he got rid of competition throughout the province. Any bandit gangs he found, including Egowers, he eliminated as soon as he could, so it would make sense that he would eliminate the Somerset Shadows also, even though they operated exactly the same as his Razors did. Oh, you know what? Actually, I cheated. That was a set stage so that I could do the becoming the Guildmaster thing for the epilogue there. Likewise, this was becoming the Guildmaster. Miscellaneous quests we never did. You can see the list here. We never brought to follow her to Delphine because we ended up killing her. Never did that. That was an interesting NPC quest. Never did that because we found another way around it. Eldris's Note didn't interest us because it was Markarth. Falkreath, nah. And Greywater Grotto, that was an interesting NPC quest we never did either. This one we started doing and then I was like, fuck, I don't want to have to find all that shit. And given that tomatoes, carrots rot with the realistic needs and diseases, I was like, I'm going to hold them on my person forever. I'll find the other things. I'll come back, and those things, the tomato or the carrots will be rotted by then, and I'll have to find them again. It maybe wasn't as big a deal as I made it out to be, but I just said screw it. We were done with that quest. Created our new guild, the Razors, of course, and recruited our 10th guild member. This one was old... what was his name? Not Two Tails. Among the Hist. It should be marked as a completed quest, but it bugged out when he died at the end. I think perhaps because we actually killed him once and left him for dead, and then the quest brought him back to finish this. It was an interesting quest, and I'm glad that we ended up doing it the way that we did, but it's weird that it's not marked as finish. First lessons, we had to get into college to get the Elder Scroll. That ended up being there because of that, but we had no interest in pursuing it any further. Return to your roots? Fuck that. I've collected enough Unread in my time in the Elder Scrolls. Briarheart Necropsy. We were never going to do that for Naloth because we didn't ever plan to go back to the Reach and then back to Solstheim. It was never going to happen. And spell it out for me. I killed a U, I killed an L, and I think I killed an F. The R was an incidental one that ended up getting killed when I think when I raided Falkreath. I started this quest thinking, oh, this could be kind of fun. I'm a bandit. Maybe I'll kill some people. But they had to be non-Nords, which makes it a little bit challenging because like 75% of all the NPCs in this game are Nords. And then by the time I killed like an L, it was like I was 30 hours further into the game, and I was like, you know what, screw this. And I think from that point on, the F and the R were incidental. So that was the quests. And that's it. This is a little weird that we've been talking for hours and not had the sunrise. We should have the sunrise. Let's give it a minute. I bet that dragon will still be flying around, little jerk. There he is. And there he is, old Stilico, with Dargo somewhere around. And this is it. We will do one more. It's going to be a very short episode, this last one I'm going to do for you, episode 300. But it is, I think, a nice capstone and send-off for the character. And I will not talk to you any further because we've already been going on for about an hour and 12 minutes. And we're just done. We're done. We're done. It's over. This character has told his story and is now being retired. I really appreciate everybody that has watched it all the way through. I thank you for your attention. This is, I grant you, not a small dedication of your time. 150 hours of anything is a lot to commit to, so I appreciate you if you've watched it all the way through and stuck it out. I don't take it for granted. You guys are awesome. I love my audience. I love the community that's been built up around my channel and streams. And I hope you guys will tune in for whatever it is I end up doing next. Until next time, take care. I'll see you around. And long live the Dragonborn.